All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're putting an incredibly brief piece of digital communication straight under the microscope. In our hyper-connected world, we're sending and receiving literally thousands of messages a day, right? We almost never stop to actually think about the structural choices baked into them. But today, we're going to slow things way down. We are taking a macro lens to a single, isolated digital artifact. By applying a really structured analysis to what seems like a simple interaction, we can actually uncover some fascinating layers of intent, urgency, and formatting. So if you're the kind of person who loves grasping complex ideas through clear structures, you are absolutely in the right place.
Hello, Vishesh. And yeah, that's it. That is our entire source material for today. A stark, two-word message that honestly demands our full attention. It's incredibly brief, sure, but it acts as this complete micro-narrative of human connection. When you're dealing with text this tiny, every single character, every missing letter, and every choice of capitalization carries a huge amount of weight. We don't have paragraphs of context here. There's no polite opening preamble or formal signature at the bottom. We are dropped right into the immediate center of a thought. As we break this down, keep this exact phrasing in your mind, because this is the foundation we're deconstructing piece by piece to see how digital brevity actually works out in the wild.
Section 1, context of the note. So our source gives us this specific piece of metadata, new note. This literally sets a blank, fresh slate for the sender. Before a single word was even typed, there was a conscious decision to initiate a brand new space. Think about the psychology of the new note function on your phone for a second. It's not a quick reply to a group chat. It isn't forwarding a link. It is a deliberate act of creation from absolutely nothing. This metadata tells us the author had a specific, isolated thought they needed to get down. The digital environment is entirely empty, just a flashing cursor waiting for input. And this starting point is absolutely crucial because it frames the extreme brevity that follows. I mean, the author had an infinite amount of space to work with, yet they chose to use almost none of it.
Which naturally makes you wonder, right? How exactly do you decide to fill up all that completely empty space? When you're staring at an infinite digital canvas, what is the most pressing piece of information that absolutely must be captured? The choices you make in those first few keystrokes dictate the entire vibe of the document. The beginning of any communication sets the tone. Are we writing a long-form essay, a grocery list? In this case, the author just bypasses all the pleasantries and goes for an almost aggressively direct approach.
Moving on to Section 2, the abbreviated greeting.
Look at that very first word, hello. They completely dropped the vowels in this hurried, highly informal digital shorthand. We are instantly introduced to the pure mechanics of modern digital efficiency. The E's gone, the second L, gone. Just the O hanging out at the end to give it some phonetic closure. And let's be real, this isn't a typo. This is a deliberate stylistic choice born out of a need for pure speed. Or maybe it just signals a really casual, established dynamic between the sender and receiver. By stripping the word of its standard structure, the author is communicating way more than just a quick hi. They're communicating a state of motion. It gives off the feeling that this was typed on the fly, maybe with one hand, or in a rush where every microsecond spent tapping that screen was just taking too long. When you compare that abbreviated hello with the standard hello, the visual and structural contrast is kind of amazing. You've got hello, which feels complete, right? It's polite, it's traditional, and then you have hello. It's jagged, it's compressed, it's totally utilitarian. Putting them side by side like this, the visual economy is just undeniable. The author sacrificed formal spelling for raw speed. And honestly, this reflects a massive trend in how we process information today. We want direct understanding. We strip away the unnecessary padding to get right to the core. Hello is the ultimate distillation of acknowledging someone's presence without wasting a single pixel.
All right, Section 3, emphasizing the subject. Then we get to the subject's name, Vishesh. It is rendered entirely in uppercase letters, and it just dominates the visual space of the note. If that first word was all about speed and minimizing effort, the second word is about maximum impact. In the grammar of digital communication, we all know typing in all caps is basically turning the volume dial to an 11. It commands your eye, it completely overshadows that tiny little greeting that came before it. The name Vishesh isn't just being stated, it's being announced. It visually highlighted against the stark white background of a new note. This formatting choice guarantees there is zero ambiguity about who this message is for or what it's about. The subject is literally everything here. So the real takeaway here is this totally jarring shift in typography. You move instantly from this casual, lowercase abbreviation to a really loud, emphasized subject. Think about the balance, or, well, the intentional imbalance here. Hello is small and quiet. Vishesh is huge and loud.
The sender spent basically zero digital energy on the greeting, saving all their firepower for the name itself. This creates a really clear hierarchy of importance. The greeting is just an afterthought. Vishesh is the undeniable focal point. It's honestly a masterclass in using basic keyboard functions, like literally just the caps lock key, to convey tone and urgency without needing a single extra word to explain it.
Which brings us to section 4, the final takeaway. So why does any of this matter? What is the point of analyzing literally 2 words? Well, even in just 2 words, the structure, the formatting choices, and what's deliberately left out create a highly specific digital artifact. As we've mapped out, it is never just 2 words. First, you have the environment, the new note, launching a brand new thought. Second, the methodology, HLO, that linguistic shortcut proving they needed speed. And third, the focal point, Vishesh, the typographic emphasis showing pure urgency. When you combine those 3 pillars, you realize this tiny fraction of text holds a surprisingly dense amount of data about the author's intent and mindset. It proves that effective communication doesn't always need to be long. Sometimes structural choices speak way louder than the vocabulary itself. At the end of the day, we are left wondering about the real intent here. What were the precise circumstances that led to such an incredibly brief, weirdly formatted message? Was it a frantic reminder jotted down while running to catch a train? A rapid-fire text sent in a moment of pure surprise? We might never know the actual backstory, but by breaking down the mechanics of the text, we've successfully mapped its anatomy. So the next time you dash off a super quick, abbreviated message, ask yourself, what is my formatting actually saying that my words aren't? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and remember to always keep an eye on the details.